हाय, मेरा नाम है अवंतिका मोहन एंड मैं एक 3 साल के ऑलमोस्ट 3 साल के बच्चे की मम्मा हूँ एंड जब मैं प्रेग्नेंट थी या जब मैं जब मैंने बर्थ दिया था तो मेरे अंदर बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस थे बिकॉज दिस वाज माय फर्स्ट एक्सपीरियंस एंड आसपास के लोग बहुत सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन देते हैं, कई चीज़ें गलत होती हैं, कई चीज़ें पुरानी होती हैं, तो आप बहुत सारा कन्फ्यूजन लेके चलते हो। तो इट्स ऑलवेज गुड टू हैव एन एक्सपर्ट्स एडवाइस एंड एक्सपर्ट व्हेन आई से इट्स नॉट मी बिकॉज ऑफ कोर्स देन हम अपनी मम्मा से भी पूछ सकते हैं, बट एक्सपर्ट एज इन अ मेडिकल डॉक्टर, सो आई हैव डॉक्टर दत्तर ऑन बोर्ड विद मी हु इज गोइंग टू बी आंसरिंग ऑल आवर क्वायरीज एंड बहुत सारे छोटे छोटे सवाल जो कि हमें लगता है कि ऐसे तो ऐसे करते हैं, ऐसे तो ऐसे करते हैं, तो वो सब चीज़ों को लेके मैं और डॉक्टर दत्तर एक सीरीज शुरू कर रहे हैं जिसमें कि हम आपके सारे सवालों के जवाब देंगे होपफुली। कुछ हमने कोशिश करी है अपनी तरफ से कुछ करने की, तो प्लीज़ देखना। और आपको लगता है कि कोई प्रेग्नेंट है या आपकी कोई फ्रेंड या सिस्टर या कोई होने वाला है, और या फिर आपको लगता है कि पहले आपने ये चीज़ बोली थी कोई नहीं मान रहा था, आप ऑलरेडी मॉम हो, तो प्लीज़ उनके साथ शेयर करना। एंड या लाइक आई वुड लव टू गेट अ फीडबैक ऑन दिस। थैंक यू।
Yes, same here. Absolutely, absolutely same here.
I don't know why we
Was
have
this
been for so long. Because so those of you are watching it for the first time and they don't know because they probably know me. I'm not sure if they're watching on Dr. Dattar's channel or my channel because we'll probably share it on both channels. I would like to ask Dr. Dattar to introduce himself. Then I'll introduce myself, please.
hello everybody. I am Dr. Nikhil Datar. I am a gynecologist. I am practicing since 1997. I practice in the western suburbs of Mumbai, more so in Goregaon and Malad. I am medical director and senior gynecologist at Cloud9 Hospital, which is in Malad West, Mumbai.
Yeah.
And Lifewave Hospital as well as Yashoda Hospital happen to be my own creations. I'm the owner and I'm the proprietor of these two places.
Yeah.
I have been a professor of gynecology for a good 10 years, so I've taught a lot of people, the aspiring budding gynecologists, as they when they became the specialist doctors. Coincidentally, also happen to be a lawyer. Of course, I don't practice law as such, as in like I don't go to the court or something. But law has been my passion. Health rights has been my passion.
Yeah.
Women's rights has been my passion.
And you have done so
So
much
many people.
for women's right for like I think it was if you are underage and if you want to do an abortion, then you are the one who needs their rights, isn't it?
Yes, yes. So basically, I have a work. I mean, I filed a case against Government of India to make a change or amendment to the law of the land, which was like 50 years old law. And the contention was this: that if there is a woman, let's say a rape survivor, especially a minor girl, or there is a woman who is like having some abnormal fetus and she does not want to continue the pregnancy, then the existing law of land that's in India allows termination of pregnancy only up to 20 weeks. So it is going to be because of my case, it has paved way to the amendment, and I'm happy that the Parliament very recently actually passed this amendment to the law, and because of which the law is going to change. So I have a lot of flair for women's rights, health rights, etc., and that's of course by passion. So that's where we are. And the most important introduction is this: that this beautiful girl who is sitting over here, that is our, she also happens to be my patient, or I happen to be her
Yeah.
doctor.
No, no,
And
you're
I'm so happy
my
to connect.
doctor. You're my doctor. Actually, it's a funny story. So, our house in Mumbai is actually next to Cloud9 Hospital. And so the child, when I got pregnant, we had not planned to have a baby, etc. So what happened is in the beginning we were little like lost couple, that what has to be done, like what is the procedure, because this is all new to us. So as my sister-in-law had given birth in one of the hospitals in Mumbai, so my in-laws told me you have to go there, and I said okay. But we saw Cloud9's the board and everything, so we decided okay, we're going to check it out, and then definitely not going to use this hospital because that one is really good, whichever it was. I don't remember. And within 5 minutes of being in Cloud9, because we happened to meet Dr. Nikhil Datta, We were like, okay, that's it. We are sold because he's got such a vibrant, friendly, positive vibe, and it's so important to actually resonate with somebody like that because लाइक आई सेड कि हम बहुत ही कंफ्यूज्ड और बहुत ही ऐसे नए से कपल घूम रहे थे और मैं प्रिपेयर्ड भी नहीं थी तो आई थिंक I was not on top of the world. I was not on the cloud nine, let's say, to be pregnant or to be prepared. So when I met Dr. Datta, then it was like, okay, now, this is going to be where I'm going to give birth and he's going to be my doctor. So very lucky in that because there were like so many incidents. I remember. So I just want to give you a brief about what we're going to talk about. And because he came to our life and there are a lot of things that he actually made sure that he cleared the path for us, like whether it comes to like a lot of orthodox things that your parents will probably tell you, or whether it is like new things that you can actually adapt. Like you don't have to just leave everything old, you can actually have something old at the same time adapt to new things as well when it comes to pregnancy. So this is the right kind of combination. That's why I requested him to come on board and talk about the things. I actually made a list. Why I made a list? Because I'm a very talkative person. Doctor knows about it. So अगर मैं बात करने लगूंगी तो one thing to other हो जाएगी. So that's why I made a list. I hope I still have it. And then we want to talk about like actually it's a very strange time to be pregnant. I'll have a look. To be pregnant at this time because you're so scared. So you are getting a lot of patients now who are like scared, Dr. Ratta,
Yeah,
about
yeah,
the virus.
absolutely, absolutely,
So what do you tell them?
absolutely. Yeah. So this is a very common question. I mean, couples come to me who are like wanting to plan the pregnancy, but they are shit scared that whether they should plan the pregnancy in this corona pandemic.
Yeah,
I mean, as if coronavirus is like sitting there and trying to find out those couple who want to become pregnant and go and
yeah,
attack or something of that sort. Yeah. And surprisingly, sometimes we do get couples who come in with early pregnancy and they say that we just simply want to kind of abort the pregnancy. And you ask them, then they say, no, we are very scared of coronavirus infection and that's why we want to abort the
oh
pregnancy.
God.
So I think a lot of this is because of the myths related to corona.
Okay.
And in fact, I mean, that was the reason for which on my channel, I mean,
Yeah,
on YouTube,
yeah.
I'm currently doing a series called Pregnancy Myths and Truths. One of the videos that is being watched frequently by people is on corona and
Yeah,
pregnancy.
yeah, yeah.
And that's why I want
I
to
send it
clear a
to a lot
few.
of people as well.
Yes, true. A lot of myths around corona, which I like to clear. Now, first and foremost, I want to make you understand that coronavirus is a viral infection. There is no antibiotic which works on this infection. That's the fact, right?
Yeah,
Second important thing, we all know that it's although like a dreadful infection to have, the total number of people who actually speaking really suffer or die is extremely low, and usually it is like a cough cold fever like what you have, and it goes away most often. Means I currently have about 4 patients who are corona positive, and all of them, none of them not even have running nose. Forget fever, they don't even have running nose, and it's like 7, 8, 10 days, right?
yeah,
Now people have a fear that they think that this coronavirus infection will go to the baby in the womb and cause some abnormality in the baby in the womb. That's the basic crux of the matter.
yeah,
And there is absolutely no study to support this particular myth. There is a significant amount of number of corona positive pregnant patients. They have been studied pretty well, and there is no evidence that shows that corona infection reaches the baby inside the womb and causes some kind of an abnormality or miscarriage, etc., etc., etc. So there is no doubt that corona is going to cause a problem to the baby.
but the immunity of
Now,
the woman goes down, right? Like when the woman is pregnant, and if she's pregnant and she is positive, her immunity will go down, right?
yes, that's true. That's true. It's other way around that if at all you have got low immunity,
Yeah,
then you are more likely to catch this virus or this infection. Now, very interestingly, there is one other study where they have tried to find out whether just because of the fact that you are pregnant, are you more susceptible
yeah,
to getting coronavirus infection. And to your surprise, it will be interesting to know that the study says that no, just because you are pregnant, you don't become more susceptible to
Yeah.
catch coronavirus infection,
Yeah.
right? So, in general, also, if you see, yeah, then young and women. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a separate story. But according to me, all women are young. That's a separate story. But if you logically look at it, then generally young people are less likely to catch infection, more so below the age of 55.
Yeah.
And somehow, the total number of females versus males, I mean, two-thirds of corona positive people have been males across the world, and only one-third have been females. So, since this group of women who is like planning pregnancy is below 55, and obviously they are women, so as it is, they are less likely to catch coronavirus infection. And I told you that there is no study which says that just because of the fact that you're pregnant, you are more likely to develop corona infection.
Yeah.
Now that's a different story. If let us say there is a lady who is say 32 weeks pregnant, or 8 months pregnant, she's heavily pregnant, and she catches corona infection, then treatment while you are treating this particular person, it may pose certain challenges because of the fact that she's heavily pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a separate story. Primarily speaking, if a pregnant woman is, since she is not additionally susceptible to getting coronavirus infection, if she is using the standard precautionary measures, that is hand hygiene, social distancing, adequate amount of mask protection, etc., etc., then there is no need to get worried about this. And that's why I would say that people who want to plan pregnancies can go ahead and plan the pregnancies
Yeah.
straight away. The third problem that people ask us is about the breastfeeding post delivery. They feel that,
If
would
it,
it go
yeah.
through the breast milk to the baby? And answer to that is that again, that breast milk does not secrete coronavirus infection. Number one, through the mother, through the blood, through the placenta, coronavirus infection does not go to the baby.
Okay.
So the only way the baby can catch infection is through your hands or through your droplets because of the fact that you are coughing or sneezing. So,
Yeah.
in short, if I am the mother, if I am sneezing and I am not using a mask, then obviously the baby is next to me. So, I am actually sneezing or coughing on the baby's face,
Yeah.
and hence I could transmit the infection.
Okay.
Or let's say that I'm coughing and sneezing, I do this and cough or sneeze, and the same hands I touch the baby, and hence baby getting infection. That is possible.
Yeah.
But if I am using hand sanitizers, keeping my hands clean, I am using a mask, then mothers can breastfeed the baby also. There
So
is
there
no
is no
need to
infection
get worried.
in the milk. Anyway, the milk also makes the baby stronger. The breast milk.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that is so
Absolutely.
that's a very good point, doctor.
Now,
That's a very nice thing because I think a lot of the mothers, if in case they're positive, they'll be confused, and I don't think there is enough
sure.
information out there because it's such a new thing now. Everybody's getting used to like what happens, what doesn't happen. In fact, I don't know if I told you, I was in the hospital for like 10 days because I came back from UK and I had a few signs and then I was okay. So I kept, and we were waiting for the results. So the doctor told me that while we are waiting for the results, you should not think that you are okay because just because you don't have any physical, symptoms. And then this asymptomatic thing became such a big thing because this is back in March. And now, like, I think everybody's aware that you can be like absolutely okay and then you could be infected. But I was negative, thank God. Sorry, you were saying. So what about the children? Like, let's say if the mother doesn't have infection, if the child does, what happens then?
Yeah, so primarily speaking, why would the child have the infection? Primarily, if at all you are not sending the child anywhere outside the house.
Yeah.
Okay, if you are maintaining the, it will be some adult who is going out of the house is bringing the infection, giving it to the child. So if you are not allowing child to mix with people, if you are not allowing the child to go out, there's no reason why should child have it. And even if the child has it, okay, the same story that each person has to maintain the social distancing, hand hygiene. These are the only two things that is going to kind of matter. Now, earlier days, it's a new virus, so a lot of research keeps on happening, and old
Yeah.
research kind of is proven wrong, and new
Yeah.
research comes forward. So initially, there was a kind of a thought process that if at all I receive a parcel or I receive a cardboard pack
Yeah.
from the courier or I receive a newspaper or something of that sort, the coronavirus infection could come through that also.
Yeah.
But we have recently seen a change in the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, the big organization from the United States, they changing their advisory and they changing their advice that they were giving. Now they are very clear that they are saying that you might find the genetic material of corona virus on the cardboards or knobs or handles or newspapers or whatever that's there, but that kind of material cannot or does not have the potential to actually cause infection. So
Yeah.
potential to cause infection ultimately comes from only two sources. That is, if I'm coughing, if I'm sneezing, and I'm kind of letting my droplets out, which can potentially travel to about 6 feet maximum,
Yeah.
more commonly 1.5 feet, and then less and less and less up to maximum of 6 feet. So if I'm kind of sneezing or coughing and letting out my droplets, the droplets can go to somebody else, and through that person respiring those droplets, the infection can reach him. Or I'm sneezing and coughing in my hands, and then I maybe shake hands with somebody else, and then the droplets get passed on to the other person's hand, and that person touches his hand to the nose, and
Yeah.
that's how the infection can spread. But otherwise, beyond that, other things like newspaper, cardboard, parcels, these, that, it's all kind of not supposed to be that seriously dangerous now
Oh,
after the
this is a
latest.
bad news for all the people who are launching the sanitizers, especially for, because there are new sanitizers. And because we are in this business, so I got a collaboration. They're saying they got a new sanitizer that is only for, like, let's say, packages or sports equipment. So I think that, of course, they have to work in fear, because otherwise it's of no relevance, I feel, right? Because it's going down. That's very nice. Actually, I didn't know about this breast milk, etc. That's very nice.
I wanted to just complete the story by telling one more important thing, that there are some people,
Yeah.
who are wanting to become pregnant through the treatment side, like wanting to do an IVF and become pregnant and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, there is a separate advisory for those people. There was a separate advisory for those people, because there was an advisory that came through most of the credible organizations, gynecological organizations, probably most of the government organizations also, including India, where they said that currently we are stopping, or we are not advising people to go ahead with IVF treatments, right? Now, people thought that this is what is being advised because they have found something, where the fetuses will get affected or something would go wrong with the fetuses, and that's why this advisory has come. But actually, it did not come for that reason. It came for some other reason. The advisory came for the reason that those people who are going through these IVF protocols and programs, they need to go very frequently to the clinics. They need to go to a lab, give blood sample, go to sonography, do sonography, go somewhere else, etc. Which means that they have to travel place to place. They need come in contact with various people, and as everybody knows that we don't want people to come in contact with other people. That was number one reason. Number two, that when you're doing this IVF cycles, there are embryos which are stored in kind of a lab setting. Somebody needs to go in, get the embryo out. Now, if there is somebody who, let's say a healthcare provider who is having corona infection, and if he is handling embryos, then whether this corona infection will go to the embryos, we were a little doubtful at that point of time. Now we know that that is not true. And third was that since the ministry or the people wanted to prioritize giving treatment to corona positive patients,
Yeah.
they did not want any other non-emergency things to happen. So they wanted the whole healthcare force to concentrate only on treating corona positive. That's why the advisory came not to do anything. Okay, and so it had got nothing again to do with something going wrong with the baby or something of that sort. It was more for an administrative reason than for any other reason. Yeah. So now we know that it doesn't affect the embryo also, and these restrictions are getting relaxed now, and people are now slowly starting IVF protocols, IVF treatments as well for pregnancy. This was
Do you
just to
do
complete that answer.
IVF as well in Cloud9? Do you do it?
Yes, yes, of course, of course.
Okay. I don't know. So that's it. Okay, perfect. So that's it for today, and I'm so happy that you guys were able to watch this video. Because अगर आपके मन में कोई भी सवाल है इसको देखने के बाद या इसे देखने से पहले, तो प्लीज़ हमें मैसेज करना, और मैं और डॉक्टर दत्तर, मैं आपको लिंक भेजूंगी, उनका भी और मेरा भी। आप हमारे इस पर कॉमेंट कर सकते हैं, आप प्लीज़ किसी के साथ शेयर करिए जिसको आपको लगता है कि इस इन्फॉर्मेशन की ज़रूरत है, बिकॉज इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट something that can really help people. So please go ahead and share it with as many people as possible, and make use of it. And I'll be here very very soon to answer the rest of the questions जो अब आप यहाँ से पूछेंगे. Bye.